Hello and welcome back to Colony Survival. Now I have noticed a few issues with the last part in the sense of there's an audio bug, and I have figured out how to fix said audio bug, but it might be a bit dodgy, so bear with me. It should be fine, it just means audio in certain parts might be a bit strange, but it should be okay. It shouldn't really be that noticeable other than to like me listening back to it possibly. But other than that, we should be good. I have had a slight issue with the colony itself back here because I have made some slight changes and stuff. We might go back over this in a different video, but we ended up running out of arrows nearly at one point, so I've had to make some changes and things to actually keep the colony alive, so that was fun. But I also made some additions to the castle since the end of the last video. I did these little bits while I was rendering out the first part, just sort of entertaining myself, I suppose, and I didn't really add too much, but I basically added this inside bit just to give some idea of what this inside bit is going to actually look like when it's finished. I added the bottom of the guard towers on either of these front sides where the stonework's going around, as I said in the last video, and also sort of finished the main gate in terms of its design and added where the torches go on either side. This under bit needs finishing, and obviously we're going to get on with the wall. I've also made a decision on how I'm going to record the fast-forwarded bits, which probably isn't that interesting, but I've got a plan for figuring that out now. But yeah, in today's video, I'm probably going to finish up the walls, hopefully, and get the internal groundwork in place, so I know where to build the like central castle building, which I then intend to decorate inside as well. So this should be pretty decent build, and this episode should be a primarily time-lapsed one as well, because it's going to be a lot of wall building. So I'm going to get right on with doing that. So, that's the majority of the walls done up to a 6 block height so far, and I've started going up again to 9. I did notice something during the middle of the night while I was building that, is zombies were spawning in that little patch there, which isn't good because, I don't think I showed it off, but there's a little like step laddery thing I built down there to get back up for when I fell in. So I think what I might have to do is change over to building the floor over here, so that way, you know, zombies aren't climbing up in the middle of the night and causing severe issues for everyone else living in the village, because this drawbridge connects directly into the main housing block, so there's no defences there other than those 3 archers over there, which will probably take care of it, but I don't really want to risk my colonists this early on. Well, it's not really early on, but I don't want to risk them at all. I've got like 66 of them now, like, you know, I don't really want any of them to die. They all have their own little roles over there. So I'm going to get on with building the groundwork, I think, as opposed to actually finishing up the rest of the walls. But you can see already these walls are going to be pretty high. Like, they're intended to be higher than this portcullis thing, like I said in the last video, going up at least 2 more blocks before doing the crenellation bits. And the crenellations probably going to be about 3 blocks up, like just to like the base layer, and then obviously the little 1 block bits that go on top of there. So it's going to be quite a quite an extensive bit that goes on top of there. So it's going to be a decent height, like the wall wise. It's gonna keep going up really, which should look really cool, but obviously might create necessary slight issues. It's going to take a long ass time to build that thing. I'm going to need to use the stone to go around to do this extra wall inside, because I also need to do this before I can do the internal walls anyway. So this stage does sort of need to be done first, arguably, and maybe I should have started with this as opposed to the walls. But I feel like the walls are a pretty important thing, and they allow you to get a proper scale for what the place is going to actually look like. Because obviously it allows you to size up the height of the thing you're building, which then allows you to size up everything else that goes within it, including the castle housing and stuff. Which is why I'm just going to do like a rough sort of floor layout, just to make sure that obviously zombies can't just randomly wander in the middle of the night and kill everybody, because that wouldn't be great. Although I do have enough stuff that I basically can replace every colonist that dies immediately at this point. Like, I think I have a decent amount of iron production. I haven't directly checked since I upgraded the whole system because of the arrow issues that we were having, which I think was mostly my fault for disabling arrow production, thinking it would only apply to one of the crafting boxes, but apparently it applies to all of them, which was a slight issue. But yeah, the audio fix that I'm currently using, I haven't tested to see exactly how it's going to work with these time-lapse videos. I managed to get it to work with the original base tour, because I actually rendered the base tour out afterwards, which is probably a weird thing to do considering the base tour should technically go out before the first part of the build, and I'm not sure how much spacing there is going to be between those, because I am recording this before either of those videos have gone out, mainly because I just really want to do this build, and so it's sort of taking up time, I suppose, in that sense. But I like doing sort of creative stuff, if you haven't guessed from like a bulk of the content on the channel, which is mainly base builds I think at this point, and other little creative bits and bobs that I like doing. The earliest stuff on this channel, if you go back and look at it, it's very different stuff. It's almost machinima-esque, but not good quality in any way whatsoever. It's kind of funny in a sort of cringy way, going back and looking at it, to be honest. But I suppose that's where all channels sort of start out, is with slightly cringy content. Because this is YouTube, and it's a weird and interesting platform, and we are running out of grass quite quickly. This is a slight issue. I might have to go and like mine a bunch of grass in a hole or something, which I'm not sure if I would record me doing that or not, so yeah, it should be interesting. I'm also not sure where the hell I'd go to mine the grass, because like I don't necessarily want to fuck up anywhere around where my base is currently, because you know, I'm constantly expanding the wheat farms out, which is causing slight frame rate issues, I believe. Like the wheat growing and then the piles of zombies because of the amount of colonists I have, and the sort of choke point of the front door where all of the bodies pile up, is causing the frame rate to occasionally start to tank. But actually I feel like the insides are kind of okay like this for now, and I'll go and get the grass at a later date, just to fill that all in, obviously. Where's the door placement? There, because that is the internal wall. I'm just doing these little house bits at the back, these guard towers, just to have a proper layout of everything, and I can actually sort of build these up to the correct wall height. which should hopefully make things look a lot nicer. But I think I'm probably going to do the rest of this as a time-lapse again, because obviously it's becoming night time as well, so I can sort of speed through that and then talk to you during the day once we've made some more progress. So I will see you guys very soon. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is a castle wall done on both sides up to a block of, I think, 6. A block of 6? A height of 6 blocks. Now, we of course still have to further up this up till we reach the height of the crenellations, and then we're going to have to go back and start adding in other detailing around. Obviously the crenellations are a pretty big addition that has to be added on. Also, that wall isn't up to the right height currently, so I'm just going to drop down and do that. In terms of everything else, like I said, I'm going to have to go and get the grass by myself at some point, which should also help by just continuing to produce more stone, because if you have noticed during the time-lapse segments when I'm grabbing more stone, we currently have a ridiculous amount of it just all the time now, because I've sort of left them doing their thing while I added like detailing to stuff like those 2 buildings over there. But hopefully we should get these walls done within this video, and then we can start on to more interesting and more unique and detailed segments of the castle very shortly. So I'm going to get back to work on building these stupidly high walls, and I will see you very soon. Right, so that's the wall once again put up to the right height, and we've started on expanding again. Now this is the last height before we start doing the crenellation segment, which will go up another 3 on top of this, but obviously it'll be 1 block out, and then we have to do the floor on top of that. But before we get to that, I would quite like to get rid of this sort of wall stair segment here, so the front door area is sort of more complete and more like the rest of the castle once it obviously reaches this correct height. So what I intend to do is start doing the flooring within one of these towers and actually get it up to the correct height with everything else. So I'm going to start doing that now, because that basically gets rid of this staircase bit and sort of fills in the castle a little more as well and makes things look a little more like they should. Now how I intend to do this is through the use of obviously planks and building up a system within here of staircases. Now how we're going to do that I'm not entirely sure, because I haven't actually planned these out quite yet. I'm not sure at which points I want to stop to obviously do like flooring and stuff, because doing a staircase system means that we have room to keep stopping to put down like archer windows and stuff, but it's finding the exact spots to do those in, because archer windows would probably be quite good there and obviously then there, but obviously the staircase is in the way here. So it becomes an issue of probably moving the stairs to over here rather than that wall. But these are the things that I'm talking about. It's going to be kind of a little bit of trial and error with actually setting up these guard towers properly. So we shall see how long this takes, because it's going to be interesting. Also working out the flooring levels to do these on, because that would probably be a pretty good floor level to start on. Obviously that means I can have another window quite quickly here, and basically just have to keep working my way up to reach the current wall height, which is pretty substantial at this point I think. But we have to keep going up higher anyway, and eventually these things have to be like the top of proper towers, so we'll see how that actually looks. I've realised I'm starting to say a lot more again, and I think it's just the break from doing YouTube content and having to continuously, well, not necessarily continuously broadcast, but so continuously, I just, fucking brain. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's the having to keep coming up with a sort of conversational topic to keep the video flowing is a little difficult, if you especially if you have like a really long break from doing it, which I have had, but I'm happy to be back doing it, to be honest, because it's really something that I enjoy doing, especially these creative things, sort of trying to get across my my thought process and ideas in the creation of things. And obviously this is something I sort of have to voice in other things as well, university and things, having to sort of explain your design process and your inspiration and things comes up surprisingly often, to be honest. Now I'm not sure this floor height system that I've implemented actually fits with the tower heights and things I've built. Now this is the slight issue with things, because this is going to go obviously out from here like that and then go up another 3, so that sort of height, and that then connects into these towers and obviously goes around like that. So I'm wondering how this is going to factor into things, because I feel like I need, like, this sort of works for now for getting me up to the wall height at least, like that, yeah, quite happily sort of jumps up and I'm on the wall, which is good, which is exactly where I need to be. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to that and keep considering the detailings of that to make sure everything sort of fits, because I think it looks quite nice so far with this design. I think the stairs fit in quite nicely and the floors don't look too weird. Might make those a little thicker rather than sort of just blocks sticking out of the walling, although it kind of makes sense in that sort of old school timber style. But I think these windows look quite good and obviously offer quite a wide sight range for my archers. I probably will have a couple inside. Where's the door? There. Probably around the sort of main keep building, which is going to go there, sort of-ish. Obviously I need to actually finish the floor, which requires me to dig a bunch of grass. So I'm actually going to check the footage again here, just in case, because I'm not sure how much I've actually recorded, because I just sort of get carried away with building things. But I feel we've made a lot of progress today. Like, we've actually sort of built up the main base of the wall, at least. You can sort of... I think you can vaguely get an idea of sort of where the crenellations are going to run across now, and how they're going to attach to the lower halves of the wall. I will hopefully sort of go into a lot more detail about in the next video, if not very shortly, because I'm going to check the footage. So if this is the end of the video, thank you guys for watching. If not, I will see you very shortly.